watching Channel 4, the local station, home of News4Jax.com. Channel 4 News starts now.
Good evening. We have breaking news that comes from Regency Square Mall. Since 5 o'clock, we're now hearing from shoppers who were inside the mall when shots rang out.
Police are looking for 3 men. They believe that at least one of those men is responsible for shooting a mall worker, a woman, wounding her in the shoulder. She was working at a kiosk located near the middle of the mall, near the Belk department store. The red circle highlights the area. Channel 4's Elizabeth Kate has been out at the scene since this all happened about 1 o'clock. Elizabeth, we understand police are working to get out surveillance pictures that may help them catch these 3 men. Is that right?
We are told that there is surveillance video that shows a very terrifying day for shoppers here at Regency Square Mall after police say a gunman or 3 people possibly opened fire near this Belk. Portions of the mall are back open tonight, I'm told, but as police continue their investigation, there are many unanswered questions. Frantically leaving Regency Square Mall, shoppers are in shock after police say 3 suspects opened fire inside.
I heard 2 shots. It was like bang, bang. And then when I saw everybody running, I took off.
According to JSO, the men were walking out of the mall and fired a bullet that struck a kiosk employee selling sunglasses just outside of Belk. Investigators say it's unclear what, if anything, they were aiming at. No other shoppers or employees were injured.
I'm shaky. I mean, this happened, you know, I'm still shaky. It was a very scary experience. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like this before. That's a little too close to home.
Shopper Sabrina Spencer says she caught a glimpse of the victim police say was shot in the shoulder.
There was blood all throughout the floor. It looked like maybe, I don't know, she had walked, and then she was laying down. They had her feet propped up and then tied her arm really tight to stop the bleeding, I guess.
But at this time, the suspects are still at large. What's the status of the gunman?
They're still outstanding, and we're looking to figure out who they are. Right now, we're trying to track down leads in reference to that.
A terrifying thought to the people inside the mall at the time of the shooting.
My worry is that they didn't clear out the mall completely. I mean, you have people sitting in the food court with their children eating. You have people still shopping. On the other side, nothing, they don't know what's going on.
With the help of witnesses, police are hopeful mall surveillance can help identify the suspects. I want to reiterate the shooting victim is in stable condition. Police cannot confirm if she was the intended target or not, but just another question that they're going to have to answer as this investigation continues. Reporting live from Regency Square Mall, Elizabeth Kate, Channel 4, the local station.
Elizabeth, we're watching the picture of the people going into the mall behind you while you were talking. What parts of the mall are closed, and how will people know what parts of the mall are closed? Is it like roped off?
Well, at first there was crime scene tape, of course, here at the Belk for a few hours after it happened. But at this point, as you mentioned, people do seem to be walking in and out of the mall. I myself tried to go back into the mall. I was turned away. So it appears that if you try to enter the mall, they will stop you if it's a portion that's closed. But again, it looks like lots of shoppers are getting in the mall and it's open for business again tonight. Tom?
Thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Kate reporting to us live from Regency Square Mall. We will continue to bring you any new developments on this investigation. Once again, police are looking for 3 men. The woman who was shot is in stable condition. As of right now, parts of the mall are closed. We haven't heard any change in that information. We're waiting for surveillance pictures from inside the mall. As soon as those pictures are made public, we will bring them to you. It will also post them on News4Jax.com.
For the first time, we're hearing from a young woman who says she was molested when she was a child by a man we interviewed in prison last week.
Harvey Duncan sat down with Jennifer Waugh at his own request. The 62-year-old Jacksonville man is serving a 25-year sentence for molesting 5 local children. He reached out to Channel 4, telling us he wanted to help our viewers better protect their children from sexual predators like him. Shortly after seeing Duncan on Channel 4, one of his victims contacted us, asking us to let her tell her side of her horrible childhood experience. She spoke with Jennifer Waugh. Jen?
Tom, Tasha Sorrell says that she is telling her story about what this man did to her in hopes of helping any other children who are being abused find the strength to speak up. And she also hopes what happened to her can be a lesson for parents who may be making the same mistake that she says her own parents made.
He would take us up to the attic, and that's where all of the abuse happened. He would videotape things and just make us do sorts of things.
Painful memories this 22-year-old has never been able to forget about what this man did to her and everyone else she loved.
He would mostly take me and my older sister together. Sometimes the one underneath me, Precious, he would take her, 3 of us together. I think 1 or 2 times it was all 5 of us. Sometimes it would be just my brother.
Tasha Sorrell says all 5 of them, the 4 sisters and her brother, were molested by Harvey Duncan in the attic of this Riverside home 15 years ago.
And what kind of person was he? How did he treat you guys?
He actually treated us very well. He's a sweet guy. We didn't know anything was wrong. We didn't know that what he was doing was wrong. We were never talked to about sex.
Tasha said she was just 6, her younger sister 4, the older ones 7, 8, and 10. Harvey Duncan was a neighbor. We brought you his story from behind the prison walls of Union Correctional in Rayford last Thursday. He told me earning the children's trust was actually easy.
If they believe that you will listen to them and talk to them, they start asking you questions, and then eventually they start bringing up questions about, you know, the body and sex and stuff that they're afraid to talk to their parents and others about. And that's how that's really how it got started.
Disturbing and shocking. His interview, he said, meant to help parents better understand the mind of a pedophile. Tasha says that she's talking now with the hope parents will listen to her.
So we didn't know anything was wrong. So it's important for parents to, I think at a very early age, no matter how uncomfortable the situation is to talk to your kids about sex, tell them what's right and wrong, you know, where, you know, they're allowed to be touched and where it's not appropriate to be touched.
She says her parents were both drug addicts, and none of her sisters or her brother told anyone what was happening for nearly 2 years.
You said he picked the perfect family. What do you mean by that?
My family was already just broken. We were already susceptible to abuse. Our parents abused us, and it was a type of abuse that was physical and painful. And the type of abuse that Harvey was, you know, putting on us was a kind that we thought was a type of love.
He kind of said that he was sorry. You think he's sorry?
No, I don't think he's sorry. I think that he's a sick individual, and he's exactly where he needs to be. And I think given the chance, if he could do it again, or if he got out and the opportunity presented itself, he would probably do it again.
While you might think Tasha would hate this man, she says she doesn't.
I can't let this event in my life define who I am. It only is a part of who I am. It made me who I am today. And honestly, I live a wonderful life. I have a beautiful son, and I'm doing well in school, and I have a great job.
Incredible, isn't she? Tasha says that her older sister told a neighbor what was happening to all of them in 1997. You know, I asked why after nearly 2 years of silence. She says her sister, who was 10 at the time, says that she remembers vividly a look of absolute fear on her baby sister's face, that sister just 4, as Harvey Duncan was leading that 4-year-old away to the attic.
Oh, God. Wow. Huh. Did she tell you about her brothers, her sisters and brother? How are they doing? Gosh.
The older sisters, the older sister and the older brother felt this burden. You know, they were the older brother, the older sister. They should be taking care of them. And so it's been very hard for them. They've struggled for many, many years, but now have their own children and have used that to give them strength to really right their life.
Boy, they've somehow gotten some great direction along the way. What about their parents, though? Was this a revelation to them, or?
Tasha really believes that her parents knew. And while neither of her parents would ever admit that, her father is now dead and they did not have a very good relationship. She believes that her mother will keep this and take this with her to the grave, this secret. But again, her mother denies ever knowing anything about it. And she says, you know what, I love my mother. She did the best she could. She had a terrible drug addiction and she did everything she could to take care of us.
She's such a composed young woman.
Isn't she amazing?
She's remarkable.
I mean, she's amazing.
One of the most unusual, powerful interviews I've ever heard in almost 40 years.
She's 22. She's amazing. She's amazing.
Thank you, Jen, so much. Thank you.
Just 1 week after Summer Thompson's killer pleaded guilty to brutally murdering the 7-year-old, Summer's mother spoke out about her agonizing decision to spare Jared Harrell's life. Harrell pleaded guilty to kidnapping, raping, and murdering Summer Thompson in order to avoid the death penalty. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Channel 4's Jim Piggott was there to hear why Dena Thompson gave her approval to the plea.
Their life won't ever be the same again.
Dena Thompson says she's staying strong for her kids. It's been an emotional week since Jared Harrell pled guilty for killing her daughter, Summer.
Do you have any regrets because of that, though, now that you've had a week?
Of course. I mean, I wanted to fight him tooth and nail. Summer's mommy, Dena, does, but my other kid's mom says that we need to protect them. Summer, I can't do anything else. He took her from us. I can still help the other ones.
And she plans to do that by working with police, getting child pornographers off the street, and working to get more money for police agencies.
But you had to do what you did. And look where it got you. And now you're going to jail.
I asked her about Summer's twin, Samuel. Did she encourage him to take the stand and talk to Harrell?
He actually had said he didn't want to talk to the monster. And sitting in court watching the rest of the family get up, he wrote that little statement out sitting there. And then the next plan was that I was going to read it for him. And then when he saw everybody else reading it, he got up there and he said, "Mommy, I want to get up there." And so I said, "You get up there and you tell him what you want to tell him." And he just made me so proud.
Like many of us, Dena Thompson still has questions.
I would still like to know, how did he get her in the house? What did he say to her? There's so many unanswered questions.
The state attorney said it accepted this deal because otherwise there would have been countless appeals. There was also concern that a confession by Harrell could have been thrown out as evidence.
I was told from the beginning that this would never even come to pass. This would never come to light. They would never ask for a deal. So I had been prepared from the beginning to go to trial and watch him get the death penalty. But then the Casey Anthony trial happened, and there was some concern that maybe the confession could be thrown out. And with the concern that the confession could be thrown out, what if I got a jury or people who believed that he wasn't guilty? I wasn't willing to take a not guilty instead of taking a deal and letting him go to jail forever.
And next week, when more information is released, Dena Thompson and the rest of us will get more answers. Jim Piggott, Channel 4, the local station.
We're learning new information this evening about a local clergyman's probation for sex crimes with children. Today, Darrell Gilyard's lawyer filed a motion asking that children be allowed to attend his church services. After spending 3 years in prison, Gilyard was able to return to the pulpit at Christ Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church on the north side. But under one condition, children cannot be in the church. At a court hearing, the judge said for children to be allowed in, Gilyard would have to undergo a psychological evaluation, and then a therapist would have to make a recommendation. It could be 2 to 4 weeks before that order could be carried out. So for now, the motion has been withdrawn. Gilyard can keep preaching, but no children will be allowed in when he is preaching. After fighting cancer as a child, she says she knows exactly what some other children need.
How the survivor is giving back at Wolfson Children's Hospital, bringing a smile to many faces.
All right, check out the rains that extend not just for our backyards here, but out to the Gulf. It will end up being one of the rainiest days in 2 months tonight. And then there's the cold. We'll have the whole forecast in just a minute.
But first, family and friends say heartfelt, tearful goodbyes to a young college student. What they told us they will miss most about Kyle Allen. Next.